So, with Joe Biden being named the president-elect of the United States of America, of course, there are a lot of questions and speculation about who are going to serve in his cabinet, who his cabinet picks are going to be. And those are very valid questions, and they should be asked, and things like that should be pondered upon. Now, so far, we've gotten a couple of cabinet picks, and we've gotten speculation as to who else will serve as a part of Joe Biden's cabinet, and we have a couple of names floated out there, as suggestions, if you will. And let's just say that none of the options presented so far are anything that should excite the left, as if that's a surprise to you, right? So now I kind of want to get into a broader conversation about how he's going about this, and he's saying that he wants to include Republicans into his cabinet, and that's what I really want the video to be about. But firstly, I want to address something really quickly on the subject of Rahm Emanuel. Now, he was floated by Joe Biden's team. They said that he's being considered to be, I think it's Secretary of Transportation or something like that. And of course, the progressive wing of the party came out in droves in opposition to this. You had AOC online. You had AOC online saying why this was a bad decision. You had Mondaire Jones speaking out as well. And so I found this interesting article on the Boston Globe, and I just want to read it to you very quickly. So Rahm Emanuel doesn't deserve a job in Biden's administration. As Chicago's mayor, So come January, Joe Biden will become the 46th president of the United States because black people revived his flagging campaign with a decisive victory in the South Carolina primary. Please don't remind me. Then, by a larger percentage than any other group, they helped put him in the White House. This makes any thought of Rahm Emanuel in the Biden administration both incomprehensible and manifestly unacceptable. As Chicago's mayor, Emanuel stalled the release of video showing the 2014 police killing of Laquan McDonald. It took a judge's ruling to force Emanuel to release this crucial evidence to the public, more than a year after Officer Jason Van Dyke shot McDonald 16 times, including when the 17-year-old was already on the ground. The video revealed the official story as a lie and flipped what city authorities called a justified shooting into Van Dyke becoming the first Chicago cop in nearly 50 years convicted of murder. McDonald's death occurred a few months after the much-publicized police killings of Eric Garner in New York and Michael Brown in Ferguson. Facing a tough re-election bid, Emanuel could not afford the negative attention these videos could have garnered. To save his political hide, he tried to bury them along with the truth. A man who tried to cover up the murder of a black teenager by a white officer does not belong in an administration that has pledged to unravel systemic racism and repair a democracy never given a chance to be whole. If Biden hoped to gauge reactions to putting Emanuel in his cabinet as transportation secretary or a lower profile position like trade representative, the backlash has been immediate. Representative AOC of New York tweeted, "Covering up a murder is disqualifying for public leadership. This is not about the visibility of a post. It is shameful and concerning that he is even being considered." Hiding Emanuel in the bowels of an administration does not overrule the fact that he should get no closer to a White House return than a visitor's tour whenever they resume. In building his administration, Biden is showing a proclivity toward deep experience and personal familiarity, and Emanuel has both. Known for his brusque, ruthless manner, he was former President Bill Clinton's senior advisor and assistant to the president, then served as Illinois' congressman. Now, I know I'm kind of reading on a bit here, but I kind of wanted to get to something. So even before McDonald's murder, this is what I wanted to get to. Emanuel turned his back on black voters who helped him win what he'd often called his dream job. Faced with a $1 billion municipal deficit, He closed 50 schools, most in the city's predominantly black neighborhoods, under the guise that it would help the displaced children's academic prospects. It didn't. Now, I'll stop reading that there. Now, hopefully you kind of understand who this guy is and what he's about just from me reading that little segment of this article here. This isn't good, guys. This isn't good. And you could have guessed that things would have turned out this way. In fact, you probably didn't have to guess. You knew that things would turn out this way. You know, it was don't criticize Joe Biden. Don't say anything bad about him. You know, just wait till he gets in office, and then when he gets in office, we're gonna push him left. That's obviously not happening. You know, don't hold out hope for this guy. Just don't do it, guys. They're saying that he wants to. Before I even get into that, I've been seeing reports saying that progressives are satisfied with the Joe Biden's cabinet picks. That's a lie. That's propaganda. Don't believe that bullshit. I've also been seeing things that I saw one thing that Joe Biden was asked, will he include, left-leaning politicians in his cabinet, such as Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren? And his response to that was, I think we've already done a good job with putting progressives in our cabinet. Now we're looking in other areas. Are you kidding me? You're kidding. He's not kidding. We know he's not kidding. You see, this is the thing, man. These people, it's so sad how far the Overton window has shifted to the right. It really is so sad. You have two Republican parties. Two Republican parties is what you have. And, of course, us on the left, we're fighting, trying to bring the party back to the left. But it's not an easy fight, guys. You see, with Joe Biden back in office, we're up against the establishment once again. That's an enemy that was never defeated by the left. They lost, in fact. Remember, Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, the primary, got snubbed, the whole thing. Obama made the calls. Remember, Amy Klobuchar, Mayor Pete dropped out. Elizabeth Warren stayed in. We remember how that whole thing went, right? We lost to the establishment last time. And now we're back up against them again, and they're as strong as ever. Okay, one could even say that the battle against the establishment is even harder than the battle against the right. But that's an entirely different video. I'll probably make a different video on that subject later. But this is what we're up against, guys. This is what we're up against. We're up against a moderate Republican in Joe Biden that doesn't have the left's best interest at heart. Who knows? Could I be wrong? Maybe. Will I be wrong? Probably not. I'm just telling you guys the facts. And his cabinet picks don't seem to be anything that we should get excited or praise him about whatsoever. But of course, corporate media, CNN, MSNBC, they're going to love this stuff, a return to normalcy, as they call it. But, I just wonder, would the Republicans vote Democrats to put inside their cabinet? Let's put a couple lefties in our cabinet. Would the Republicans ever say that? They wouldn't. They wouldn't. But, here you have Joe Biden saying he wants to add Republicans to his cabinet, GOP members to his cabinet. It's always the Democrats reaching across the aisle. It's always the Democrats. Always they have to compromise. No, you have to go at the Republicans. You have to defeat them. You have to destroy them. You can't. There is no reaching across the aisle, kumbaya, shaking hands. No, we've seen how horrible these people are. We've seen that they don't stand for anything. I mean, the Democrats don't stand for anything either. But, in order to defeat these guys, you don't defeat them by sticking your hand out and reaching across the aisle. That's not how you do it.